Well, let's have a look at the current conditions and then the forecast over the next couple of days. So there's the system Narelle that formed late yesterday into a cyclone in the northern Coral Sea. It's currently moving towards the west at 17 kilometres per hour, and it's now just under 1,000 kilometres off the Queensland coast. It's a Category 2. The maximum gusts currently near the eye are 155 kilometres per hour. That puts it very close to becoming a Category 3 severe tropical cyclone. Now, here is the forecast track then. You can see that path towards the west will continue, and it's moving relatively quickly. It should be averaging about 20 kilometres per hour for a forward speed, intensifying to a Category 4 system tomorrow, possibly briefly to a Category 5 system early Friday before it does make landfall along the east coast of Cape York Peninsula. Now, one of the key features of Cyclone Narelle is the very thin forecast cone. So this system is far more predictable than your average tropical cyclone. It's a system, Ros, that's very unlikely to stall or make a last-minute change in direction.
All right, so what conditions can North Queensland expect when Narelle hits the coast?
Well, with it being a Category 4 or possibly a Category 5 when it makes landfall, you're looking at peak gusts near the eye, perhaps around 250 kilometres per hour. So that's very destructive winds. Destructive winds will extend down to Cooktown and damaging wind gusts all the way down to about Port Douglas. So that's why you have a cyclone watch that far south. Now, even though Narelle will weaken over Cape York Peninsula, it should still bring gusts to about 120 kilometres per hour to the west coast of Cape York Peninsula. Now, also as the system hits, there'll be some heavy rainfall. There's a risk of flash flooding directly under the path, but also a secondary area of heavy rain will extend down the north tropical coast, and that's why the flood watch does extend across Cape York all the way down to about Ingham. Although, again, because of that fast forward speed, it's very unlikely we'll have widespread major flooding. Minor to moderate flooding should eventuate across most catchments. So under the path, you're probably looking at about 12 to 24 hours of torrential rainfall as opposed to the days of heavy rain that you can see when you have a slower system.
And Tom, it looks like the cyclone could make landfall twice, even 3 times.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting, Ros. So let's keep going now with the forecast track. That westward path will continue into the weekend across the Gulf of Carpentaria. It will re-intensify, perhaps back to a severe Category 3 system before it moves across the Northern Territory. So again, we'll have this burst of damaging to perhaps destructive winds across the Northern Territory. But perhaps the main threat for the top end is flooding, because many of these towns, including Katherine, have already had flooding over the last few weeks. The catchments are wet. And directly under the path, you're looking at about 100 to 300 millimetres of rain, so certainly enough for some further flooding. After the NT, it's the Kimberley where we'll see that heavy rain. And then potentially, you can see the circulation. This is just one model, but potentially in about a week's time, a left-hand turn and a third crossing on the Pilbara coastline. If that does happen, it could even again be well above a Category 3 system. And Ros, it has been 21 years since a tropical cyclone last made 3 landfalls on the Australian coastline.